Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live for Race Spec Pacific Tier 2 action tonight. We are in the desert for the Bahrain GP as we're on board with Dutchy at the moment. So he's about to start his first hot lap, which will go on board for his first run of this 5.412 kilometre circuit, 15 turns as he comes around the final corner now. DRS activated. So we'll see how quickly he goes down this straight, see what top speed he reaches. Fairly close to 330 kilometres an hour, 325 around this tight turn 1. Want to compromise it a little bit to get a nice exit out of 2. Bit of a snap through there around 3. Your second DRS zone on the track, taking a wide line to take a nice apex into turn 4. And then you got the tight twisty section of sector 2. Around 5, 6, 7. Very easy to get loose off those curbs. Tight hairpin of 8. Wants a nice exit through here, and then one of the tighter and hardest parts on the track, 9 and 10. Through this tight left-hander, we saw Alonso, obviously in the real-life GP, make a brilliant move there on Hamilton. DRS for the 3rd time on the lap, around turn 11. He carries much speed through there. He'll switch back to the right, turn 12. Be careful not to touch the inside curb, as that can easily spin you into the wall. Around 13 now. He's only got a couple of corners left to navigate. As he hits just over 300. As much curb on the left, and he takes 14 and then the little kink of 15 as he'll come to the line. Last little bit of DRS. And he does a 28.7 for his first banker, so Dutchy on the board, but Mash straight away beats him behind about 0.4 of a second. So nice time from our reserve there. Currently 0.4 on our championship leader. As we'll quickly just have a look at some of these other guys. Banana just about to come and finish his lap, 33 flat. Prezzo just ahead. A lot of these guys trying to get out of the way. AlphaTauri at the moment. 3rd and 4th. Masticles and Clunky Boy 3rd and 4th. Jimson, Zach's just gone up to P5. Watch his teammate come through the last corner now. As Dada, he sets a quicker time now, 28.1. Jimson pops himself up into P8. What about the Ferrari? Only one Ferrari on the field tonight. He's just about to start a hot lap, so we'll follow him through. Actually, we'll jump on Davis first because he's just about to finish his first lap. Oh, and he has a spin through the final corner. So definitely a tricky corner to get right just off the exit. Just got to be a little bit careful trying to plant the power a little bit too quickly. So he'll come in. He might actually set a delta first. So he will cross the line. We'll see him back into the pits this lap. Go back on the other Ferrari as he's coming through the middle sector now. And as you can see, coming through 9 and 10. And as I was saying before, if you don't run the ABS, it can be a bit tricky to get the braking right. And you don't want to ride the outside curb because that can easily send you wide. As we go through 11 now. Obviously, a couple of different lines through these corners, especially if you're trying to make an overtake. Someone's just getting out of the way. Purple middle sector. You can take a bit of curb on the outside. Got to be careful not to invalidate. Very easy to do there. Trying to carry too much speed through 13. And then again, as you can see, nearly all four wheels. I was going to say, he just nearly does the same thing as Davis, but manages to keep all four wheels pointing in the same direction. And he goes P6 on a 29.2. So very close in that pack, just behind Clunky Boy. As everyone else is pretty much just in the pits. Jeff's just coming around the final couple of corners now. Again, didn't go as wide as the Ferrari did. When he has a moment on the exit, I think he might have nearly run all four wheels off. He does go P5. Finds a little bit of time, about a tenth quicker. As I think that's Roscoe's in the pit, so that's Davis coming around for his pit lane. So he got the delta he wanted, he's in. Obviously out of fuel. Twitch Liddy. He's currently 16th, hasn't set a time yet. Teammate currently up in P5. Twitch hasn't had the best of times this season so far. Best result was Mexico with the P9. Didn't race last week. Coming final corner now. He actually kept it smooth through 15. He crosses the line and he goes to 29.6. So about half a second off his teammate. As Reshing's just coming in, so we're going to have a bit of a lull. Dada has actually gone purple in the middle sector, so he's found a lot of time. Or I should say some time. So it's improvement in him, so can he get into the 27s? As he rounds the final couple of corners. Taking as much curb on the outside. He'll come across the line. And he's just off. Half a tenth off. The pace is there. But currently second in the championship and as a reserve no less. So doing really well. Scored a podium last week. Results from last week unfortunately wasn't available to stream last week. A little under the weather with the voice, but fully healed now. And Gez, if I'm pronouncing that right, might not be, but in the Williams, he got his first win of the season and first points as well. So currently in the Williams, currently in the box. So he hasn't managed to set a lap time just yet, but he's got his first victory. Dutchy, P2, currently a championship leader. Pretty much has got a fairly decent sized gap now. 54-point lead in the championship, and we're only five rounds in. So he's pretty much been on form. He's only been off the podium once, and that was a 4th place. As you can see him just trying to get some heat into those soft tyres. And Dada, as I just said before, he scored his second, 3rd place of the season as well. Roscoe currently 3rd in the standings. Didn't race last week. But he's right up there, same with his teammate Davis. So both McLarens in the top 5 in this championship. Constructors, Aston Martin, as we can sort of tell, with Dutchy, massive lead at the moment. About a 57-point lead over McLaren, and then Haas in 3rd. Prezzo is 4th in the standings, so he's holding up his team quite well. So might stay on board with our championship leader and see how he does on his second lap. So we saw about 325 down this straight. Dutchy does hit that as well. He comes through 2 and 3, just trying to carry speed obviously can unsettle the car on the curbs, trying to make the transition from left to right. Does that fine, has the second bit of DRS as he comes around turn 4 now, trying to go as wide as he can, carry as much speed. He's up by 2/10 already, so he's got a lot of time in this lap, but he's got a couple of cars ahead of him that hopefully don't get in his way. Williams does get out of his way, which is good. He comes around the tight turn 10 now, onto the back straight with another bit of DRS. So hitting about just under 310, turn 11. It'd be easy to just put a bit too much power coming out of 11 and just lose the back end a little bit, but he does that fine. He does purple again, nearly 4/10 up. He's found another couple in this last sector to take the top spot. As we're right on board, coming around turn 14 and then 15. Bit of DRS. We might have got a little bit of a toe from the car in front, but he crosses the line. He was about even in that last sector. Goes 28.3, but still 2/10 behind the Alfa Romeo. As Mash, he can improve. He's the first one into the 27s, 27.9. So we've got two reserve drivers at the moment up the top. What about the McLaren round in the final corner? That'd be Davis. Had a spin coming out of the last corner, and he jumps himself up into P4. So it was a nice lap from him. But top three sort of running away with it at the moment. 6/10 gap between third and fourth. As we have a look at not Clunky Boy, Masticles coming across the line. He's just about to start. I think we got Jeff. Jeff's on another outlap, so he might have made a mistake on his run. So is he going to go again, or is he going to box? He'll box. With about 5 minutes to go, he'll be able to get on his last set of soft tyres, as Jimson's unfortunately invalidated his lap time. So we'll see him box to do the exact same thing. Oh, Clunky Boy. Currently P10, can he move up? Currently down on his time. I think he was that just moved up. Might have been Banana that moved up into P11. So currently just sitting outside. He's just dropped another spot. Roscoe has just jumped up into the top 6, 28.9. Very close to his teammate. 3 1,000s off. So not a bad lap from Roscoe. McLaren doing a good job once again. Twitchality, he's in. Masticles, he does improve on that lap. He goes P4. So good pace from the AlphaTauri. We're seeing Mash at the top at the moment. First and only person into the 27s at the moment. Got about a 2/10 gap to Wash Data, which in turn has another 2/10 gap to Dutchy, as Garris unfortunately has left the session, so hopefully he can get back in. As the rest of these guys are going to be in pit lane, so that they'll do one final run with about just over 3.5 minutes to go. Obviously with this Bahrain track, weather's pretty much going to be dry or just a little bit of cloud of the course of the race, 29 laps. So you should see some good battling. Obviously 3 DRS zones, a lot of overtaking on this circuit, and then if you do get past into turn 1, opportunity there to get the move back done into turn 4. And then obviously if you get a good run out of turn 10 and then the car in front maybe has a little bit of a moment or runs a little bit deep, opportunities there also for turn 11. But we have also seen moves at 13 and turn 15 as well, as Gears does rejoin the session, which is good to see. Last week's race winner in Hungary. Still is yet to set a time, and he may not actually be able to. Being that he'll, by the time he loads into the session and repicks his car, may not actually have time to come back out, unfortunately, as Roscoe, he's left the session now. So, just a few connection issues at the moment, so hopefully we can get these sorted out. As Prezzo and Steely, as Gareth, well, he's retired from the session, so unfortunately not enough time to get out. Oh, he might have been right, but he's just going to start from the back, maybe do a last to first. He did win from pole last week, so didn't do a last to first last week. Might be able to do it this time. Steely is just about to commence his final lap. So currently last of the guys that haven't set a time in 17th. Needs to find about a second to get close to the 10. About 8 tenths. Roscoe's back in, which is good to see as well. And he just gets in front of 2 cars coming out. So he'll have a bit of clear traffic. Problem is he hasn't got DRS on. So is he going for perhaps a second outlap? Maybe his tyre's not great. Yeah, not pushing just yet, so we'll back off from him and go up to Prezzo. So he's now starting his final run. He will not have time for another one, so this will be his last. He comes around turn 1 now. Prezzo about a second off pole at the moment, but you can find a couple of tenths. Might be able to jump himself onto the second row. Right on board. Nice apex, clean break. Oh, 5-second penalty with Masticles. Not sure what happened there. Masticles seems alright. Where's clean break? He was on his outlap, so maybe just a bit of an issue at turn 10, but that's unfortunate. Roscoe, he's in the pits. He's been able to rejoin, but unable to do his final run. What about Prezzo? Coming around turn 11 now. See the Delta's time. He's up by 3 tenths. So this will put him in P4 at the moment. Gonna find a lot of time to catch the top 3. Dutchy, he doesn't improve. As Prezzo comes around the final corner. Last bit of DRS, he'll cross the line. What can he do? Can he get gap? He's got the gap. Does keep that 3/10 gap. He's in P4. The McLaren next of Davis. He's currently up by 2 tenths. So can he manage the final corner? He does. No issue. Across the line. He jumps up 1 spot just behind Prezzo. Banana jumps into the top 7. Jemson will be first across the line of the Red Bulls. Up into P6. What about Zach, his teammate? As I think Twisley moved into 12th. Zach moves himself into 8. What about the 2 leaders? Oh, Mash, I think, had an issue, so he won't be bettering his time. Data actually is purple in the middle sector, and he's getting a nice tow from the car in front for one of the Haas's, which I think is clean break. So will this tow actually give him pole position as he comes across the line? And he does, 27.7. So a really good lap from Dada, puts himself on pole. Mash is definitely, obviously after that little incident that he had at 11, unfortunately, not sure whether he was up or not at the time, but that final lap from Dada gives him pole position for the 29 laps that we will have at Bahrain. So really nice lap from Dada, and looking at his pole, that is actually his first pole position. Oh, Dutchy and clean break have a 5-place grid penalty. So not good for our championship leader. And then clean break as well. He did a really nice job, P5. We caught that. It was just in front of our pole sitter. But both of them will drop to 9th and 10th. So Prezzo, Davis, Jimson, and Jeff will all move up. But decent gap too. 2/10 of a second. His previous best was a second place in quali, but he betters that. And as we load into the race, interesting to see what strategy these guys go. Soft tyre is, I'd say, fairly useless around this track. And as we sort of saw in real life, two-stopper if you use them. Medium tyre obviously is a lot better in-game than what it was real life. But fingers crossed we have a good one with the 18 drivers. Hopefully we sort of don't see one or two run off in the distance like we did see Sunday night. As we load up. Could see safety cars obviously very tight into 1, 2 and 3, and then did nearly see a decent accident with the Aston Martins out of turn 4. So fingers crossed we don't have any of that, especially within in between teammates. Definitely don't want that. As 5 seconds left on the clock. As we get underway for the formation lap. As I will have a look at the tyre situation, and majority of the drivers have gone the hard tyre. We've only got 3 drivers on the mediums. So Mash, Jeff, and Twintility. So both Alpines and one of the Mercs. I'd say one of the Mercs, the only Merc racing tonight. They've gone on the medium tyre. Oh, and that's a Haas into the wall. Thankfully, he's going the wrong way, which thankfully a little bit of ghosting on, but fairly dangerous. Somehow he didn't get disqualified somehow. Have to be very careful about that, especially if he rejoins that, if he has something similar in the race. But I imagine if you fly into the wall like that, you're not coming back. But he's at the back of the field at the moment. He won't need to repass anybody, but obviously Mash going to try and go for the jump off the line. Obviously a fair decent way down into the way down for turn 1. So get a bit of a slipstream if you're on the second row, so Sneaky and Prezzo. But obviously Dada definitely want to try and get as much heat in those tyres, and as we can sort of see, he's gone for a quicker formation lap. So he's definitely want to just slow up the pack just a little bit, try and get as much heat as you can. Obviously, Sneaky lead Aston Martin, obviously with Dutchy having that 5-place grid penalty, same as clean break. So what can Dutchy do from P8? Obviously he's got a healthy championship lead. Doesn't have to do anything drastic, but definitely wouldn't write him off for a podium. As Banana was disqualified. Was that going deep as we've got a couple of guys spinning at the back. As the last couple of guys should be lining up. So it's the 2 reserves on the front row. And we got 3, 4, 5 lights. And we're underway in the desert, as it seemed like a good start from Dada. Mash sort of got bogged down a little bit. The one drive that you thought wouldn't have happened. We try and get a decent camera angle. As we've had a spinner, and that's Prezzo. He's had a spin at the back. We've got the 2 McLaren side by side, as there's an Alfa Romeo at the back as well. So a couple of spins, but no massive damage from what we can see so far. But Data actually got the better start on the hards. It was Prezzo on the mediums that struggled. Oh, sorry, Mash, I should say, on the mediums that struggled big time. As the Aston Martin goes super wide there. Yellow flags around for the guys at the back. Dutchie's moved up a place. So single file through here, but the two guys at the front have gotten away. Prezzo with that spin. Maybe a little bit of a touch from behind, very easy to do. As we'll quickly swap to clean break, gets the move back on Twitch Liddy. So Twitch just struggling with the medium tyres actually. I figured they would have been a lot more pacey. Just Twitch send it down the inside. Six the nose there. Got to be a little bit wary. Gares behind the Alpine. Oh, and that's the Haas gone very deep. Nice move from Prezzo, but Gares gets the switch back. Obviously Prezzo having that spin earlier on. Both hard tyres. Quickly switch back up to Sneaky and Jeff. Jeff making a nice move at turn 1. Does Sneaky think about the switchback? No. Jeff got a nice run out of there. So Jeff up into P4. So making those medium tyres work. As Twitch and Clean go side by side, 3-4, you can do that. And Jeff Clean Break has to give the position up, but in doing so, let his teammate through, which I don't think he probably wanted to do there, but had to back out of it, otherwise it would have been a touch, and yeah, just lost a little bit of time, and he's got to be careful because the Williams driver, will he think about the Alonso move? Not quite. So he's at the back of his pack, 2 behind. They haven't needed to stop, as, clean break. Oh, he's had a spin coming out of turn 10. As the Ferrari will get the move back past. So a lot of guys switching back and forth. About Roscoe. Unfortunately, he was unable to get his lap done. Clean Breaks had another off at 11. So tyres still probably weren't great from his first spin. So Roscoe, he got a nice run through there. I think Zach had a bit of an issue. Right on board. Roscoe about 50% ERS. DRS has been enabled. So he'll get the move done. Obviously, side by side through there with the Red Bull, Gibson and the AlphaTauri. There's a lot of moves done. Jeff's had an issue. Oh, thankfully Ghosting's on. So a lot of moves. Quickly switch back to Gibson and Clunky Boy. Clunky on the outside, who have the better traction out of 4. But Gibson's got the inside and he's a lot further up to what Clean Break was. Oh, he sticks the nose in there. Still side by side. Coming into turn 8, the Red Bull's got the inside line. Will Clunky do the switchback? He does, but he's on the outside for 9 and 10. It has a bit of an issue with the traction coming out. Oh, and he has a dive bomb. A little bit of contact. Has to cut the corner. Ride the curb. So, and there's a McLaren at the back. Roscoe's had a spin. So it'd be interesting to see if he just lost it as well, if there was a little bit of a touch. Obviously, very close racing in this mid-pack. And obviously the battling that Gibson and Clunky Boy sort of holding up the field a little bit. Clunky has a little bit of a moment out of 11, switching into turn 12. But he sits behind, but nice battling in the middle sector there. You thought might be maybe a little bit of a touch and a bit of an accident, but they're right. But I'll quickly switch back up to Sneaky. He's right behind Masticles. So he'll look for a move. DRS right on board. He'll take the inside line. I think Masticles going to fight that too much. He'll try and get the run. Goes around the outside. Try and cut in. Probably not as much. He might have a good run out of turn 3. It's not too bad. Sneaky driving off the circuit nearly. But he manages to hold the position. So obviously some good fighting in the mid-pack, but I'll go back up to the top 2. Haven't seen them in a couple of laps. Data's holding strong against Mash. Mash is probably thinking he wants to get this move done shortly. Twitchily, he's had a spin at turn 4, so definitely not the night for the Alpines. He might have grabbed the Ocon car, and that's a reset track, if I've ever seen one, so we caught that in 4K. Clunky, he got the move on Gibson. Oh, Davis sends it up the inside. You can go too wide here, but it'll be on the outside of 12. Gibson's still there. Gibson holds on to the move, so nice battling from these two. Just got to be careful they don't battle too hard and lose position. The Williams driver, he's looking for the move on the Red Bull, as Mash sets the fastest lap. He goes the inside, so nice move from him, and they're still close enough that he will get a bit of DRS from the car in front. Still got a lot of ERS as well, as Dutchy gets past Masticles, the inside of turn 1. Can the AlphaTauri make the switch back? Not quite. Oh, and Sneaky's had a spin. So we've had two guys in the top 5 have a spin through turn 2 and 3. So that's going to put him back, but I'll quickly switch up because a lot of ducking and weaving through here. Davis up the inside. Not quite. Dutchy, oh, he's had a moment as well. So none of these guys in the top 5 can keep it on the track except for the top 2. So he's been able to unghost. Oh, that looked like an outside move for the Haas. To get shoved wide, not quite. But I'll quickly set it up here because oh, that looked close. Williams driver goes thinking about setting it up the inside. He has actually got it side by side, so have the nice run through turn 11. Does the McLaren fight him? Not quite. So the Williams, who started from the back of the grid, already up into P7. He's just watching cars go off track, left, right, centre, and made some nice moves here. We saw him make the move on the other Red Bull this time last lap, so can he do it for the double? Can't get it on Gibson, but got to watch him. Oh, that's a little bit wide from Gibson. That gives him a nice run onto the front straight, but I'll quickly switch back. Mash gets the move done before turn 1. So, oh, Mash has a little bit of an issue. That allows Zada to go back up the inside. They'll go side by side into turn 4 for the race lead. Mash wanted to hold that position, get away on the mediums. The mediums are going to start to fade in the next couple of laps. Data holds his position. Banana goes up the inside. Oh, that must have been a late move, but gets it done. So Banana in the top 3 now. Masticles P4. Gibson actually manages to hold on. I thought the Williams would have actually been able to get him, but couldn't. So Clunky Boy's currently leading this train. A lot of fighting as Jeff and Prezzo go side by side. I think Prezzo might have had a bit of a mistake through the middle sector. We'll head back up to the Williams because he looks close enough. Can he get a nice exit? He can. He's going to try and take the outside line into turn 11. Using a lot of ERS and actually gets the move done before turn 11. So saved up a lot of ERS. How much does Jimson have? Not a lot, but maybe he just decided not to burn, not to fight it. Dutchy, after his little incident at turn 4, he manages to move back up as... Oh, who's that going super wide? Sneaky. And stopped, just going to rejoin, but obviously a mistake there. We're back up to the top as Mash goes inside, then the out. Takes the outside line, Data still there. Or does Mash hold it up the inside? He does. Got to leave Data room. They do. They go side by side through 3. Up to turn 4. Which car got DRS? I think Data did. Or thought about the move up the inside, but stuck behind him. Quickly back down to Dutchy. He gets the move done, and that's a touch. So Zach's around. I think Jeff might have gotten to the back of him. We'll quickly go back up to this battle for P5 and 6. Clunky Boy. Oh, and he's had a spin as well. So turn 4 catching a lot of drivers out at the moment. So yes, he moves up into P5 now. So a lot of action that just trying to keep a hold of. So this sort of spread out the field a little bit. Clunky Boy, he manages to recover and comes back in P11 just behind Roscoe. So these two both have had a little bit of a spin. Nothing major, but cost him a lot of positions. So Mash, he's now been able to hold that lead, but can he get away? Obviously those medium tyres won't be feeling the best at the moment. Hard tyres should be starting to coming to the advantage. It wasn't a bad run out of there, out of the last corner from Dada. Obviously won't go for a move at turn 1. Reckon a little bit of a lift and coast. So I think he's just happy to sit behind knowing that Mash is going to be in. Mash, that's super wide. Wouldn't be surprised if he picks up a warning there. Could possibly open the door. Not quite, they'll stay as is. Jeff gets past Dutchy. Dutchy, what do you think about the move? Can he hold it up the inside? Or there's a little bit of contact, but Aston Martin's still there. Nearly side-by-side contact again. Dutchy's got the inside line. Oh, sort of forces Jeff out, but Dutchy holds the position. Jeff can't fight back, so the Aston Martin into P8. So he's on his recovery mission as well. Got about just under 2 seconds to catch to the next battle pack, which we can see Gibson and Davis. So Gibson, sort of, as we've sort of seen in the first 8 laps, has been in a battle with quite a few cars in this mid-pack. Davis hasn't got a lot of ARS, but he's turned it back on because he's going to go for a move up the inside. Oh, and that's a little bit of a squeeze, and then Davis half spinning. So he'll go back around, but unfortunately, that's 2 McLarens that now had a spin, and he's got to be careful because he's got his teammate and Clunky Boy right there. So will this open the door to Clunky Boy? It was. He'll send it down the inside at 13. Roscoe goes a little bit wide. And Clunky Boy takes advantage of the other McLaren having it off. And will we see a move up the inside? As the top 2 have gotten away. A 10-second lead to Banana, and Banana has still got Masticles right with him. They're right on board, catching the McLaren very, very quickly. It's a lot of top-end speed there. As Davis decides to head around the outside, sticks the nose and up the inside. Clunky will have the better traction off 3, but Davis will have DRS. So can you think about a move up the inside? You got to remember Roscoe's there. Does Davis do the switch back? No, he doesn't. So Clunky holds that position. So he's passed both McLarens in half a lap. As I'll quickly switch to the top because Mash had to hold off. That was about a 10th going into turn 11. So those mediums, I reckon, for Mash is starting to struggle. Dada's got a lot of pace around here. Riding on board. Very, very close, but I'll switch to the Williams of Gares. He's right behind Masticles. Got a lot of pace, the Williams driver. Obviously won last week. He's already up into P5, or he thought about it. He got Zach done there at that corner, but I think with the Alpha Tauri not being able to have DRS, Mash or Dada quickly switching back to this battle. These 2 are fighting. Oh, Dada just trying to cover off. Couldn't quite do it because Mash had his nose up there. Dada goes right to the left to try and get the better line on the outside. Does he have more traction to get out? He does. Mash thought about sticking his nose up there. But Dada gets the move done. And Gares holds off Masticles. So he gets the job done. He moves up into P4. Now he's going to chase down his teammate of Banana. So you'd imagine this wouldn't be too tough. Oh, I think Prezzo's had a spin. He has turn 4. So that's the 4th or 5th driver that we've had have a moment through there. So top 2 still miles in front of Banana. So even if Gares can get past, there's a big, big gap. Yeah, I haven't actually seen a safety car. It's good to see Clunky Boy. However, he's leading a big, big train from 9th down to 14th. As Resching, he sets another fastest lap. So he set a couple of fastest laps on the medium tyre. Obviously, he had to box early, so those mediums won't be able to go 23 laps, so he'll have to box again. But he did start on the hard tyre, so he can go on to another set of mediums, but he needs a safety car as Mash right up the back of the Alfa Romeo. Couldn't quite get the move done. So not quite, but I'll quickly switch to this pack. Dutchy and Jimson. We go 3 wide, double overtake. Oh, Jeff nearly thought about the double overtake, couldn't quite get it done. Oh, the Red Bull right behind the Aston Martin. He'll have DRS, Dutchy won't. As we go into turn 4. Oh, nearly a bit of side contact, Jeff's there. He thought about any opening that would come, but Dutchy manages to hold the position. Oh, that was a bit of a offline from Jimson. Doesn't quite open the jaw from there. A little bit of a touch, but that does unsettle Jimson a little bit. That allows Dutchy to get away. Well, that was a nicer exit from Jeff, I should say. So Jimson just struggling out of turn 10 at the moment. Still there. Nah, lets Jeff go. So Jeff moves up to P7, Dutchy P6. So Jimson loses 2 spots. And we look at see how close the 2 Williams drivers are. Gary sort of just maybe just let his teammate know, or Jeff's had an issue. Oh, he's had a spin out of 13. That's actually quite a long way. Maybe a little bit too much on the power. Oh, and that's a little bit of an unsafe rejoin. I'll quickly switch to the 2 Williams drivers first up. Yeah, that seemed like an easy move. Banana wasn't going to fight that too hard, being teammates. Jeff, he's into the pits. Doesn't look like he's got damage, but he's going to go get off those medium tyres. Clunky Boy still holding off, so Clunky Boy must have a little bit more straight line speed and keeping the train behind. He's got no ERS though. Davis. We've sort of seen this in prior races, especially at Mexico, where Davis is behind a car and then Roscoe sort of behind as well, unable to do much. But they've got Sneaky and Zach for company as well. Prezzo, after his latest spin, behind. Obviously Prezzo starting top 4, having a spin off the start, and then another one as Twitch and Clean Break have a bit of a battle. These 2 have had spins as well. As we sort of catch our breath just a little bit. This is closest, I'd say closest battle on pack, but we've got this pretty big DRS train from Clunky Boy down. He's actually catching Jimson a little bit, so Jimson may burn out his tyres just a little bit. He's just struggling at the moment. Oh, and that's super wide from the Red Bull driver. As he sort of stays off the track as much as he can to sort of avoid the warning, but he's got to be careful of that, because we did catch that footage, so got to be a little bit careful that he doesn't constantly do that. Mash still holding on to Dada. Should see him in fairly shortly. I'd imagine the next lap or 2. Those meetings would probably be screaming. He's doing a good job keeping up though. Clunky Boy manages to hold on. Sneaky up the inside of Roscoe. There's a little bit of a touch. So Roscoe, unfortunately, does the ghosting a little bit, but he'd be annoyed about the little bit of a hit that he got there. As Zach sends it up the inside. They go side by side on the exit of ball. Roscoe should have the better traction out. He does. And Zach has to fall back in line. But that little bit of a hit in that battle has allowed Sneaky to get away up the road by about 1.5 seconds. So he's still behind the other McLaren. He's got one done. Can he get the other one? But Davis has got... Oh, Davis has actually fallen out of DRS. He did get it down this straight. Got to be a little bit careful he doesn't fall out of it, because he'll be in a little bit of trouble from the Aston Martin. So as we cross the line to start lap 14, Mash still staying out, so happy to do that. Obviously got a fair margin to the group behind. Sneaky been and get a nice exit out of here. I don't think Davis got DRS. No, he didn't. So possibly a move for the Aston Martin. He'd see the rear flap not open. He's closing. Does he send it down the inside? He does. Does Davis think about the switchback? He does. Can he get a nice exit out of 2 and 3? He's right behind the Aston Martin, but with the lunge that Sneaky did, that actually gives him DRS. Oh, but Davis sticking the nose up the inside at 4. Sneaky, I think, has got the job done, had the better line, and holds the position. So nice move there. He's passed both McLarens. Up into P9, so now can he try and get past the AlphaTauri that Davis has been stuck behind? Oh, and that got a little bit close for comfort for Prezzo. Oh, and Davis has had a spin. So he gets passed by the Aston Martin and then has a spin out of 8. So just not gone right for both McLarens after having such a good position out of quali. So now Roscoe, Zach and Prezzo just forming a little bit of a line. Morning to you two, hope you're enjoying the stream. Obviously a lot of battles we've seen early on as Mash, he comes in, he wants off the medium tyres, he's on the hards. As Gears sets the fastest lap of the race, so he's finding his somewhat worn hard tyres, he's finding a lot of pace on them. Problem is he's got about a 10-second gap to Wash Dada, so he's going to have to start making up a bit of ground, especially on the medium tyres. Oh, and that's a little bit wide for Mash. We'll see how much he struggles with the hard tyre as Zach goes up the inside of Roscoe. So nice move at turn 1. Does Roscoe get DRS? He does, but I think he's just a little bit too far back to be able to try and fight the position back. And Zach holds it, so the Red Bull driver in the top 10 now. We haven't had any retirements, which is really good to see. Banana, how are you? Obviously typing while racing, I see. Nothing changed with you, but obviously you're looking good in P3. Obviously both Williams drivers looking really good as Gez does actually set a purple middle sector, so he's flying on these tyres. So he might stay out just a little bit longer. Could he possibly stretch hard, soft? Still think the softs are probably not the best tyre in terms of only lasting 6-7 laps. Sneaky. Now, can he do it? Gez sets 31.6. You can just hear the engine from Sneaky. Didn't want to make the move done out of 15. He wants it done turn 1. And with the pace he's showing, I wouldn't be surprised if this move gets done fairly quickly. As Dutchy, his teammate, is in. Well, Clunky Boy's fighting this, so he had better top end speed. Or a little bit of a contact. I think there was enough for him given there, but Clunky has a bit of a moment but recovers. But Sneaky will hold on to P7. As Roscoe and Dutchy comes in for the medium tyres. So we'll see how well they go and try and see if they can get a bit of an undercut on the guys that were racing. As we got a yellow flag, oh that's threshing. He's out of spin, coming out of 11. Oh, and Mash has had a moment too, I think he has. Oh, he's had a moment out of 6 and 7. So Mash was looking good for a P2. Still the first driver to make a pit stop, but he's lost that 10-second lead that he had to third and fourth, and Dutchy's right behind him and on the softer tyre. So Mash, you thought a guaranteed podium, but he's going to struggle to be there, especially with a lot of these guys on the medium tyres. We've got a yellow flag. Is that Prezzo around? It is. He's had a moment. That's his third moment of the race. So a lot of these guys are struggling with traction out of turn 4, out of turn 11. As Jimson, he comes in for a pit stop. So we'll watch Dutchy. He wants to get this move done. He knows Mash is runnable. Oh, Mash is coming in. He must have had damage. Oh, he's 5 seconds speeding in pit lane. And he's retired, so that's just out of frustration. He didn't actually have a front wing, so that's frustration. So that's really unlucky. Mash, look at it, set for podium. Must have been a mistake on his own in the S section. And that's him out of the race. So we've lost a contender. And not only that, we've seen how many guys have spun, especially early on. Wash Dutta, at the moment, is the only one that hasn't had a mistake, and I'd probably include Gears and Banana in that as well, as Dutchy and Prezzo are fighting. Dutchy getting a nice move into turn 8. So Dutchy really liking these medium tyres. Prezzo obviously yet to stop. So Dutchy definitely going with the undercuts working, as we do see race leader in. So Gears will keep going. We've seen the speed he's got. He's just yet another fastest lap. That's like 3 or 4 that we've seen in the last 10 minutes. As Wash Data comes in, I think you'll see the Alfa Romeo come in, so we should see him next lap. Banana stays out. Could Banana be a little bit of a hold up, but I think he's a bit too far ahead. Banana will want to watch his race because he'll definitely be on for a podium. Especially with Mash having his issue in retiring. Masticles, he comes out. As we got a yellow flag. I think that's Steely this time it is. Another car at 11. He's been able to get going. Thankfully, in one way, we haven't seen a safety car. But this has sort of broken the field up a fair bit. Wash Data on the medium tyres. Dutchy got the undercut, but as you can sort of see, might be just behind Davis, but he's nearly 15, 16 seconds off the lead of this race, so he's not really in contention. But we'll see how he goes. Should be able to get past Davis quite easily. Davis yet to stop, maybe hoping for a bit of a safety car. But as Mash leaves the session, got a little bit close there at turn 10. Just the amount more pace and confidence that he's got. I don't think Davis will fight this too hard, he won't. So Dutchy will move into the top 4. As we've got a yellow flag. Oh, I think that's Roscoe. He's had a moment at turn 8. So just not the best night for both McLarens. As Gears comes in. He's on the medium tyre. What can he do? He's done crossing the start-finish line, coming down to turn 1. So what is the gap? It's about 8.5 seconds when they came in. So he's got to get a bit of heat into those tyres. It's about 8 seconds, so he closed in about half a second. It depends on how much time he'll lose on his warm-up lap and out lap. As clean breaks in. Still got Davis hanging with Dutchy. Clean break finally comes out. He'll be near his teammate. Might fit into that gap between himself and Twitch. And manages to find a good space. Reshing currently about to get lapped from Dutchy and Davis. I think, did that give DRS to Dutchy? Not quite. So obviously we've got 2 drivers left to stop. So Davis and Banana. Maybe hoping for a sneaky safety car. And all Gears picks up a 3-second time penalty. So any chance that he had, that's sort of gone out the window. Dada sets fastest lap by quite a way, 29.9. So I think there was got to be a fair distance anyway. That makes it just that much harder. But I think with Dutchy being so far back, I think Gears only needs to finish this race and it'll pretty much be a net second. Banana, where does he come out? Can he actually... Oh, I think he's lost a little bit of time. So I think staying out too long, he's lost 2 positions. Obviously Davis will come in, but he's lost ground and position to Dutchy. And I'm wondering if he's actually got the pace to catch him. Not sure about that, obviously 4 lap younger tyres. So I'm interested to see, and what does Davis do? Does he just hope and pray for a safety car? Still hanging in there in terms of DRS, but surely those hards must be screaming at him now. Obviously not a track with a lot of warnings so far. Obviously one driver only picking up a 3-second time penalty. So it's been fairly clean overall. Maybe the side-by-side contact with a couple of instances haven't been great. But overall the battling's been really good, especially around turn 4. As Bernardo tries to get heat up. He'd want to keep Masticles behind. So Davis hanging in there. Will we see him box at the end of this lap? So got DRS, absolutely no ERS. So he'll keep going. Dutchy about 10 seconds off second at the moment, so just needs to hold off Banana at the end for his third. Masticle's getting close to Banana, but his tyre should now be up to 10. Yellow flag, last quarter, I think it's Prezzo. It is, and he's pretty much, thankfully Ghosting's on, otherwise he would have taken his teammate out, so Prezzo's really not having a good night. So you can score a couple of points as Twitch is ghosted, so he might have left the session or in AI. So Prezzo manages just to hold up, remains 2014 as we just do see Twitch Lee rejoining the session. So he'll be able to rejoin back, but take him about a minute to do so. As the gap between Masticles has sort of opened up, Banana's been able to find his tyre temp and improved by 7.5 tenths that lap, so he's going to be on the back of Davis fairly shortly. Davis has lost DRS, so I'd imagine he'd be in this lap. I think waiting for the safety car hasn't quite worked out. Trying to get as much slipstream as he can. Davis is in. So I'm assuming, because he's gone so long, I'm assuming he might just jump on a set of softs, I think. No, he's chucked the mediums on. I probably would have done that about 4 laps earlier. I was hoping for a safety car, but didn't quite work, as we've got Steely that's had a moment. He has. Where does Davis come out? Near his teammate. Does he jump him? He does. Going to have some cold mediums that he has to warm up. Obviously not the night for 2 McLarens, both having spins. I think Roscoe's had 2 spins. Davis has had at least 1 that we've seen. So it might be a McLaren fight. So sort of imitating real life a little bit. At least we've got both cars still running, but yeah, not the greatest first round for McLaren. So they haven't been able to do well at Bahrain in the last couple of years. And unfortunately, with these 2 drivers, that hasn't sort of been their night either. So for these guys, sort of fight, have a little bit of fun. Maybe able to get Jeff. Obviously, he's on the hard tyres, and they'll slowly be starting to go. Yeah, I must admit, ghosting's obviously, it helps with multi-car collisions, but obviously takes a little bit of realistic out of it. But as I said, I think with the good battling that we've seen so far in this race, it wouldn't have mattered whether ghosting was on or off, especially up front. So we've seen some good battling. Roscoe got DRS, probably not close enough, but he sort of had to burn, or he's got none left. And Davis is there. He's got about 30%, so he'll be able to defend, and his tyres should be right up to scratch. We'll go back up to Banana, because Gap stayed steady about 1.5 seconds. This is for the final podium spot. Obviously his tyres are about 4 laps younger, so may start to come to him with about 6.5 laps to go. As we'll switch to the leader. We haven't actually seen much from him, except for his battle with Mash, but just the amount of pace he's had, he can just cruise to the line nearly as he starts lap 24.29. 6 laps to go, the Worms driver. Close the gap by a couple of seconds. But just hasn't been able to, and then picking up that 3-second penalty. Just sitting there. Dutchy's not really in contention, as we got another yellow. Then that's clean break this time. It is. So both past drivers have had a mare as well. So as we can sort of see the mini-map on your bottom right of the screen, it'll just sort of spread out a little bit. Roscoe sort of struggling now. Obviously one of the first to come in and box. Davis on the new medium, sort of stretching his legs a little bit. So sort of open the gap. Banana close the gap by about a 1/10 to Dutchy. So not quite. So probably a little bit of a lull period at the moment. In terms of the championship, if Dada can win, this will actually be his first win of the season actually. So he's done a really good job if he can close it. So Dutchy's still in third, so he'll lose a few points off his championship, but still have a really, really healthy lead. Roscoe, probably the biggest loser at the moment, only down in P12, and Prezzo as well. And then Davis, so pretty much third, fourth, and fifth in the championship have had a pretty mare of a race and sneaky. He may close up and actually may overtake him. But still, good night for the Aston Martins. They'll actually gap McLaren by a fair bit as well. So good from them, as we've got a little bit of action starting to close up. Masticles starting to close up on Banana. So maybe conserving his tyres a little bit. Banana maybe. I wouldn't say his tyres are struggling because they've still been pretty good. We've got a couple of battles. Zach and Clunky Boy going at it for P8. And Davis and Jeff. We knew Jeff was going to struggle on the hard tyres against the new mediums. So we'll go on board with the McLaren. We'll just see how he takes this next S section. Probably a little bit of dirty air, probably not helping him. Because we go through turn 8 at the moment with a much better traction out of the corners. Comes around turn 10. We get a bit of DRS. Jeff about 10% less for Davis, trying to get a spot in the top 10. The gap in front's closed down by about another second. With only 3.5 laps to go. Not much he'll be able to do. So Davis closing up a little bit, about half a second, as Zach's probably about the same distance away. Clunky, he's not actually saving, no, he's not actually burning anything, so hasn't needed to. Zach goes down the inside, he gets the move done. Now runs a little bit deep, which allows Clunky Boy to take a wider line. Oh, and he has a spin. He looked a little bit out of shape on the exit of 1, and then he sort of carried the momentum, and he's out of spin. So all that ARS he saved, unfortunately, he can't fight back. He's lost multiple positions. He's in danger from actually getting past from Roscoe. Roscoe sitting down the inside. He thought about it, not quite. Clunky Boy's tyres, I thought, might have been a little bit overheated. Maybe struggled through turn 4, but he's managed to keep it going the right way. Yeah, unfortunately, he's lost 3 positions and in danger of losing a 4th. And Davis still behind Jeff. They're starting to heat up a little bit in these closing stages. Can't get the move done. What about Roscoe? He's still not close enough. Steely pits for soft tyres. He might try and nab fastest lap. Battle for fourth. So Banana's lost touch a little bit with Dutchy, so maybe Banana's just not liking these medium tyres. Mastical's getting really close to the back of the wombs. Can he get a good drive out of 2 and 3? Got DRS this lap. But has no ERS to play with. Banana doesn't really have much more. Davis goes up the inside, nearly, not quite. So Jeff holds his line nicely. And a bit of a poor run from Davis actually there. Jeff did a good job blocking his path through there, so holds his position for 9th and 10th. As Roscoe sends up the inside of the AlphaTauri. Clunky Boys tries to fight it. He'll have the better traction out of the corner. He does, Roscoe. Trying to get a better line through 5, 6 and 7 to maybe have a go at 8. Bit tight on the curve. Sends him a little bit deep. But still right on the back. So Clunky's tyres are 1 lap younger. So I thought Clunky's was old, but Roscoe's on 11 laps. Prezzo a bit far away from probably getting involved with anything. And his teammate's sort of right behind him. So back to this battle for P4. Rascal's just sort of not quite close enough to the areas where he needs to be. So they stay as is. Oh, who's that? Had a spin. Dutchy. Oh no. All by himself. Nearly wrapped up the P3 and he's sort of thrown it away. So that's his second moment of the race. And that leaves Banana now in a fight for a podium. As Davis gets past Jeff. Well, Jeff has a bit of a moment, so he's lost any chance of a move there. Oh, Clunky Boy, he's come in for a set of soft tyres. Oh, but Dutchy, just a mistake. Just didn't think anything of it. Sitting nice and comfortable in P3. Got the gap to Banana, but now Masticles. This will give him a big hurry up to try and get the move done. We have a yellow flag. That's Jeff gone around in the middle part of the lap, around the S section of 7. So Jeff was in a good top 10 position, but not anymore. The McLarens have somehow found their way back up there with people having moments. Oh, Dutchy. It wasn't going to be a bad race for him. He was going to lose a couple of points to Dada, but he's now going to lose a lot more. But what about Banana? He just needs one more lap to hold off, but Masticles has no ERS to use. He's not quite close enough. Needs a good line through here, maybe a chance at turn 4. Wasn't too bad, but Banana's doing a good job to hold his line. DRS for the final time at turn 3. That's inside line, can't quite do anything. Jimson, he's had a spin. Him and Sneaky were going side by side through turn 1. But there was a little bit of contact, not sure, but Sneaky in P6 and only a couple of seconds, only about 4 seconds off his teammate. Dutchy has closed back onto this pack for 3rd. But unfortunately, there's not going to be enough time for him to actually get any moves done. Masticles, is he close enough to get the exit? He's not. Banana gets a good drive out of 10. Not quite, as we've got a Haas driver around at turn 3, but we'll switch back onto Dada. He manages to get his first win at Bahrain. Awesome drive from the Alfa Romeo driver. Did absolutely nothing wrong. Gears goes from 18th last to 2nd. Just lost the time gap. Dada did absolutely nothing wrong, but we'll switch this battle for 3rd. Banana, he's actually got the gap out to nearly a 2nd. So as he rounds the final corner, he thought the podium was out of it, but Dutchy making the mistake on the 2nd last lap. Banana will cross the line for the final step of the podium. Masticles finishes right behind. Dutchy crosses the line but hits the wall. He'd be frustrated with his second last lap spin. What could have been. And that's actually Dutchy's worst position this season, P5. So he'd be annoyed with himself. Sneaky. Good result from him, P6. Gibson, P7. Zach, after an issue early on, he finishes P8. Davis and Roscoe. Probably races to forget for them, but they still finish in the 10. Jeff, that second last lap spin as well, drops himself a couple of spots. Prezzo, he's had a pretty miserable one as well, but finishes in the points. Clunky Boy, can he get fastest lap? He's up by half a second. He crosses the line, still can't quite do it. He's about half a second off. Clean Break crosses the line, P14. Twitch will actually finish 15th and grab the final point. As the Williams driver does get driver of the day, and there pretty much can be no faulters or no one else really to dispute that, maybe except for this man coming down the walkway. Did absolutely nothing wrong, had a fantastic battle with Mash towards the beginning of this race. But once Mash boxed and made a mistake on his own, Dada was left on all by himself. Did absolutely nothing wrong. Drove his own race. And he picks up P1, his first victory of the season, and closes the gap to the championship leader. The gap will be about 45 points as a rough guess. But he's been able to improve week on week. And that's his fourth podium of this season. As we look at the final results, pretty much comfortable for him, 7.5 second gap. 2 years. Banana probably didn't think he'd get a podium with about 3 laps to go, but manages to finish it but about half a minute down. So we sort of didn't want to blow out, but we sort of had what real life did. Top 2 sort of away from everybody else, but good battle behind. Banana, Masticles, Dutchy. Obviously be super annoyed about that spin late, but still manages the top 5. Good result from Massima, 5th and 6th. Jimson, Zach, Davis and Roscoe, they round out the top 10. Jeff, Prezzo, Clunky Boy, Clean Break, Lily, and Steely and Reshing are your finishers. Mash, the only retirement, and unfortunately that was an incident that we didn't quite see. We only saw him recover from, but yeah, he'd be frustrated with that. But he was definitely in contention for that. Maybe the medium hard, definitely not the way to go, as we did see all the drivers start on the hard tyres. But fantastic race from what we saw. A little bit in a bit of a lull at some points in that race, but I said you can't. Had some good action at the start. Seemed to be passes everywhere, and then at the end got a little bit intense. But as I said, I don't think there's anything you can really say to that. Brilliant racing from the top guys. Few errors in there that some of these drivers will want to fix up for the next time we go racing. Which, as I look at the calendar, we have our second sprint round of the season, and we are actually in Saudi Arabia. So sorry, not Saudi Arabia, Canada actually. Jumping 1 race 2 ahead, but round 7 is Canada in a week's time. So Canada, we know how much good racing we've got there in Montreal. About a minute 10 lap. So we should see some good racing there. Obviously, similar to here, long straights. Might see a lot of drivers maybe take a fair bit of downforce off their car, but as we also know, the weather around there is definitely mixed. So we could see some interesting conditions. Might have a bit of mixed weather for quality in the race, and that wouldn't be a bad thing to mix things up. So that will just about do it. Dada, obviously, your race winner. Congratulations to him. Fingers crossed, this Discord integration for the PS5 hopefully should be coming very, very shortly. So we'll be able to talk to some of these PC guys, because obviously they've been great racing with obviously the crossplay coming into this season. So it would be good to chat to these guys and see how their season is going. And obviously, Dutchy, championship leader, lost a little bit of ground tonight, but he'll be back fighting fit and hungry next time out at Canada. So please join us next week, Tuesday, for Pacific Series Tier 2. I mean, Scotty. And we'll be back next week around the streets of Montreal. So until then, bye for now.